Welcome to Reality NSFW. I am Lauren Pratt. Along with me, my great friend Alex Trias. We are here to break down the challenge Double Agents, episode number 6. And gotta say, to start us off, burn votes. People got to stop doing them because it's biting people in the ass, and I cannot wait to break it down. We'll get to that towards the end of the episode, but that is definitely a key component when it comes down to episode number 6 of the challenge. Alex, how are you doing tonight?
Well, I'm doing fantastic. It was a slower episode this time, but yeah, burn votes are a big key here. Burn votes, miscommunication, and a lot of drama.
Lots of drama. However, we don't have any Josh drama, so I'm super excited that we don't have to talk about Josh at all this week. He is not really part of the episode, but I would be sad if I did not state that the episode started off with Big T doing previously on the challenge, and it was hilarious.
Yeah, because she was probably acting up, but I don't even think she was acting it up. I think she was genuinely still scared just being there.
I do too, and I'm glad that we got that because she's so funny. So anytime that she can get involved, it's great.
Yeah, I assume they did that like right after the challenge was done. They like pulled her back in, do that brief cutaway because they know that she isn't going home. But man, that was great. Well, yeah, so we come back. Devin's talking about he wants to, even though Tori's now gone, the target just moves to someone else. We don't know what that means because he wasn't the focal point of this episode. Fessy is upset that Anissa picked him. Like, he wants to respect her as a veteran, but she had issues with stamina, and the finals require stamina. And man, stamina was the story of Anissa this episode.
I get where Fessy's coming from 100% because we also saw her in the previous elimination. She definitely gassed out towards the end. So it's clear to all the male competitors that she does get tired. However, Fessy has to deal with it, and he got picked again. And I talked about this in the last episode. It comes down to communication, and we see that with partners such as Lolo and Nam. Their communication is no longer on point, and might I say that the romance is definitely dead.
Yeah, it was short-lived. The beautiful babies they would have made, but those babies would not have been able to communicate either.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. I was rooting for them, but now we see why that they could never be together.
Yeah, well, Lolo's involved in this next stretch where we get to this segment where Teresa is talking about how she knew the elimination was going to happen. She feels in the middle of everything. I mean, we touched about it a little bit last week where she does feel a connection with the girls, or the rookie girls and the Big T, but she also has her connections with the veterans. The issue is a lot of the veterans are already sowing the seeds of Teresa can't be trusted. She's shady. She was Anissa's number one, which apparently Anissa has multiple number ones in the game. News to me that you can have more than one number one, but there we are.
Was that ever mentioned on Anissa's end?
If it was thrown off, but apparently, I think that was just what they were. Maybe it was said off camera.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure about that. And I get it. Teresa, I think she was trying to be the person playing both sides. However, you can't make it super noticeable.
Yeah, but part of me thinks this was Nani just trying to get some sort of storyline because we haven't seen much of Nani outside of her talking down Kyle just for Kyle to win his elimination. She's now saying, like, I think Teresa's out to get me. She got me out in elimination once. We haven't seen anything in this season to show why she can't trust Teresa. But, well, we do later in the episode, but, you know.
They always seem to have some sort of vendetta with each other. They never can really get along. So I get where Nani feels uneasy about Teresa. But as you just said, we really haven't seen that play out this season where we can sit here and say, I don't think Teresa and Nani are on the same page with each other.
Yeah, and Nani decides to sow these seeds with Lolo. And it gets Lolo starting to think as well, like, what side are you truly on, Teresa? Because I need Lolo's someone who needs to know this information. She can't go off of the gray area. She's a very black and white person, I feel. She is either you're with me or against me type of person. Am I reading her wrong?
No, you're not reading her wrong. Lolo is a huge firecracker, and this is what I have said before with her. When she just lets things build, build, and build, it just all of a sudden it's going to escalate because she cannot remain composed. And we see that a little bit with Teresa. She's very dominant, Lolo is, and I think she doesn't always come with the correct approach when she's trying to get information out of somebody.
Mm-hmm. Well, the person who did come in with the correct approach was Teresa there. Teresa realized when dealing with Lolo, I need to stay calm. I can't try to get into an argument. I can't try to raise my voice, or that separates the relationship immediately. And I rather just calm this down and just move forward.
Yeah, I agree completely. And in that instance, when you see someone else boiling up, you have to make sure that you take a step back and make the situation much calmer, because if you don't, it's going to escalate. And I'm sorry, I do not want to be in a fight with Lolo because that would be scary as shit.
Yeah, I would be the one who would want to get the fight going, but be in the background to watch it. A fight's always fun to watch. I just don't want to be the one in the fight.
Yes, you want to be a spectator sometimes, but if you're the person that's in the middle of that, especially with someone such as Lolo, forget it. You might as well just sit down, take a step back, and let it be.
Very true. Very true. That gets us to our next segment, and that's where they're eating breakfast, and Nani's talking with Leo, asking Leo how he's feeling, and it comes up where Leo talks about his background, his childhood. There's a portion of his childhood where he lived in a group home, and for him, it was pretty traumatic. So living in this house with a bunch of strangers was sort of triggering him to his past. Mixing that with the missing his family, his kids, his wife who was pregnant at the time. I feel all that coming together. Leo was just feeling. I don't know if mentally I can get through this season. We haven't seen anything of him really acting up or showing any signs of weakness, but maybe he was just internalizing it all and just realized this isn't healthy for me anymore.
Right, and it's really difficult in a house such as the challenge to try and process everything, because as he said, he's experienced being in house situations, waking up next to strangers. Now, not all these people are strangers. You get to know people, but that's definitely how he was feeling. And it's also difficult on his end because he has other things going on, like missing his wife. He has a kid on the way. And I will say we hadn't seen much from him this season, so it somewhat makes sense how his exit occurred.
Yeah, and I know with the challenge and a lot of fans of the challenge, we get on a lot of people's cases for what is it. This is a quit. You're removing yourself from the game. But I think we need to understand this isn't like a normal quit of, oh, I'm quitting because I just know I can't win. Because we've seen Leo, and people who are fans of wrestling have seen Leo and know his personality. That he is a really big, he'll be a fighter. He has a lot of resilience. I think there's some things he could do really well on this show. But if you're not in the headspace, there's nothing else you can really do about it. That's only going to harm you more. And I think he makes the best decision for himself. And we hear TJ say that when they roll up for the mission.
Right. TJ, normally when people decide to leave the challenge for purposes such as wanting to quit, not wanting to be there anymore, and just not giving a shit about the show, TJ is a hard ass on them. He does not let them leave easy. And in this situation, TJ was completely fine with the way Leo stepped out from the challenge. And I respect the way TJ went about it. And I respect the way that the challenge showcased Leo's exit. And I hope that everything's great on Leo's end. He seemed like a really awesome guy. And I'm not sure if we will see him again on the challenge in the future. But if we do, I think then he'll be in the correct headspace where he is able to compete.
Yeah, with him and his schedule that he currently has, it may be hard for him to break away in order to do a show like The Challenge anymore. But I think he comes across as a good guy, very personable. I feel if he did come back, there's a lot of layers to him that we didn't get to really see through the television screen. So I would love to see him back. Do I think he comes back? Very doubtful. But I think this also just showed more of how good of a partner Gabby is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's very understanding. She doesn't really get angry at all. Like, she was complimenting Leo on how much he was helping her get through the game. I think you see it later on when she's partnered up with Devin. I just think Gabby's someone who's able to work with pretty much anyone.
Gabby's such a sweetheart. She's very understanding, and she ultimately is going to do what's going to help her, but also her partner. She seems very loyal and not someone that's going to go against what their partner's wishes are. And I'm hoping that we get to see a little bit more of Gabby throughout the season, because we still haven't gotten much. We get bits and pieces of her, but I still can't completely tell where she's at as a competitor.
Yeah, and I think we'll start to see those layers come out. I think she's going to be more on our screens, especially with the her and Fessy storyline that they're sprinkling along on here. Which, God, I'm sorry, Gabby, that you're putting yourself through this. Mistakes were made, most likely by you, but we will forgive you.
I am not about a Fessy and Gabby relationship. She should run away and run away fast, because she saw it from the beginning, and then she's letting herself get sucked in. Girl, no, leave.
I think there's a thing with, even if you have the walls set up and you are trying to show you're not interested, but you're still entertaining it because you're like, oh, it's funny, it's fun to just hear someone try. Persistence is somewhat of a attractive thing for people. So I feel the persistence and outwardness from Fessy is probably what's doing it for her more than, say, his personality or his game, because he really doesn't have any game.
No.
But he is coasting on the looks and the fact that he's 6'5", and yeah, that turns on a lot of people, and it's turning on Gabby just a little bit.
All right, I get it. You want to be pursued by people, but I'm sorry, Fessy, no. As you just said, all he has is the look column, and I'm sorry, looks fade. At the end of the day, you need to go for someone that's compatible with you and has a good personality, and just Fessy does not have it.
Yeah, well, that's why a lot of people have found that out already. Well, before we get into the mission, I just want to have your thoughts on, we now know Devin's no longer a rogue agent. He is paired with Gabby since Gabby's missing a partner. What do you think Devin's thoughts are there now that he doesn't have the safety of being a rogue agent?
Well, for Devin, that's problematic, because you think that you have a complete safe week. Then you come to realize that I now have a partner. I now have to compete in this challenge. I can't sit out. I will say, though, Gabby could be a good partner for Devin, because, as I've stated, she's very supportive. She has her partner's back. And I think Devin needs someone like that.
I also think it probably helps him just because, as we see with the vote, he did vote with the rookies, and he might be seeing that going with the rookies might be the right play for him in order to advance. Stay with people that are showing that they can be in the numbers and control a vote long enough for you to figure out your next steps.
Devin's a very calculated player, so he's going to go where he thinks the numbers are and how those numbers are going to help propel him in the game.
Yeah, the only issue I see is we don't know what everyone's opinions of Gabby are as a competitor. We already know a lot of the guys still see Devin as a layup. He would have been better suited ending up falling into a stronger, or like what people see as a stronger female competitor, because then if you're trying to target Devin, but it's not necessarily known if it's going to be a guy or girls day, they may avoid that group in order to avoid potentially having to face the girl instead of getting the layup in Devin.
Right. And I want to bring up a point as well. So obviously at the beginning of the season, everyone got matched up with partners. So right now we only have 3 partnerships that are still intact that started at the beginning of the season, in Jay and Teresa, Lolo and Nam, and Darrell and Amber B. So people need to think about that. I believe I picked 1 is going to maybe make it to the final, and you said 2?
I did say 2. It's not looking good for me, and I think both Jonny and Zack said 0.
I think
Whoa.
Zack said 0, and Jonny went with, when he heard Zack say 0, Jonny thought maybe more, and then I think they both decided on that 0 there. So I think my 1's looking pretty good.
Yeah, I'm most likely going to be wrong, but I'm willing to embrace that. So we are now going to move forward into the mission. The mission is called Smuggle Run. So you and your partner have to pick up a heavy, awkward capsule, run that capsule for a 5 mile race that had 2 checkpoints. And the winners not only became the double agents, but they won some gifts from P3 and what ended up being $6,000 per person.
What a day to win, because anytime you can get that extra cash in your pocket, you're going to go for it.
Oh yeah, there's always a little bit more of an incentive there, but I think what the big thing is everyone's thinking, okay, this is a good test run for the person that I'm currently working with. Would we work well in a final format? Because this is sort of a miniature version of what finals usually are.
Yep, and I believe many partners realized, oh, I can't work with this other person because they have no stamina.
Yeah, absolutely. Or you just had people worried about, height differences, strength differences, endurance differences. Like CT was worried about how would Big T do in a challenge where she actually has to pull her own weight. You have Nam and Lolo who are concerned with each other because they can't communicate with each other. You have Fessy concerned with Anissa because she will just walk or doesn't want to win. Because as Anissa said, you don't have to win anything. This isn't the final, and we both have our skulls already. So, I just want to brush through this because it's sort of hard to talk about, well, this person was in first, and then this person was in first. These people were in last. These people were in the middle. The 2 portions that were...
But before we even get into the challenge, 2 things I want to just talk through real quick is, first, I do think partners that are at the same height have a huge advantage in order to balance out the capsule with each other.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you saw the issue, like what Anissa was saying. Like Fessy's so tall that he's pretty much carrying it all, and she barely even had her hand on it. You have Big T and CT where it's going to be leaning, and so that's going to put more weight on each other. You had Lolo feeling discomfort with whichever way Nam was proportioning and moving it. There was moments where they didn't have it on the same shoulder, which was making it difficult.
Their capsule was not aligned at all. And I also have to point out that Big T said she's only probably run half a mile. Now you have completed 5 miles, Big T. So that is a milestone on your end. So congratulations to that.
Honestly, I feel her. When I did track, I did short sprints and I ended up doing pole vault because I wasn't that great at the sprinting. I was good at pole vaulting, so I really did that. But to go with that, I talk with my friends all the time, and back when we were running track, the ones that did long distance, and I think the proper strategy here is if you're going to be good at endurance and this is your thing, you don't want to be the team leading the pack. You want to be the second or third per team and just constantly trailing and biting at the heels of the team that you allowed to be in first, because it's going to cause them to use more energy than you. They're going to eventually fatigue, and when you get closer to the end, that's when you can shift into that second or third gear and just pick up the pace and go past them and get the win.
So I actually am a distance runner. I ran distance when I did track, and I also run long distance now. And I will say it's different in this type of element because you're not as close to the other teams. But typically, you do not want to be the person leading the pack. As you said, you want to be right behind that leader so they can block the wind for you, because it's a lot harder being that front person. And then if you're right behind, you have to pick and choose when you want to make your move to overcome that first place team. So yeah, you're right. Because the thing is, if you're that first group, you're setting the pace. You're going to gas out a lot more quickly. If you're a couple teams behind, you can see where that person's at, and then you can say, all right, we're going to kick it into high gear and make our move now.
Absolutely. See, that's great advice I could have had when I was running back in the day. I will not run pretty much ever again. I'm more of I can do HIIT workouts. I can do those high intensity intervals. Intervals, the key word there.
You need a little bit more of a break than you used to. I mean, I get it. We're not in our teens anymore, so.
Yeah, I'm at that very old age of 25, and the hill hits fast. You just want to not hit that decline as quickly as you want.
I mean, one step closer to 30. Come on now.
I know, says the person older than me. But anyway,
hey.
So there's two checkpoints. One of the checkpoints is you have to put the capsule through the wall, and while it's in the wall, you must move over the wall using the capsule. And there's ropes on the end. We had some people using, like Ashley, using their cheerleading experience to get up there and get over that wall.
She taught Corey some moves right before he had to hoist her over the wall.
Corey some moves, and we know from prior footage, you can look it up, they have shown great chemistry and great movement together in past missions. Just look it up. It's great footage.
Oh man.
Yeah, but the second checkpoint was something very suited for Ashley, and that was a puzzle where you had a bunch of numbers that you had to place in there, and I forget how they said exactly, but for whatever means, the lines needed to equal 38.
Right.
So if you're good at basic math, you should be good at this. Even if you're fatigued from running, you should be good at this. Well, luckily for Ashley, a lot of people don't know how to do math. As she says, some of these people need to stop lifting weights and start playing the number games on your phone.
But we'll get to their blunder later. However, Ashley is correct. Anytime a puzzle comes up, she always gets it done as quickly as possible, and that's one of her strong suits. I will say, hearing Lolo talk about Nam and him being an engineer and just did not understand why he could not complete this puzzle, it was cracking me up.
Well, just to clarify for Lolo, yes, when you're in college, they let you use calculators because you're not doing basic addition or subtraction. You're doing a lot more complex equations that most of them don't even have numbers in them. But it was just cracking me up throughout the competition, Lolo and Nam, just being like, they're sort of like the old married couple. Mm-hmm. Just like, you need to jog. No, I don't want to jog. You have to have it on this shoulder. Be straight, be down, run faster, run slower. Let's walk. Let's not walk. They are just not compatible. But I think both of them were right. Like it's a situation where both of them are correct. I don't think Nam does a lot of, or has done a lot of things where it's team oriented. I think he's very soft spoken. If it was just him doing the competition, I think he could do well. If it was just him, but working in tandem with someone, I don't know if that's a strong suit for him. Lolo does have the experience of working with other people in the Olympics. However, you're forced to work with them. So even if you have your personality, you still know you need to work with these people, and your ego is like, okay, I need to work with them because I want to end up in first place. She needs to realize she also has a very big personality, mm-hmm. is very bossy, and if not one thing goes correctly, she just automatically sort of self-destructs and goes against the other person.
Can we also talk about how Lolo literally said that she's never had this big of an issue working as a team? I don't buy that shit at all. There's no way. You're under so much more stress when you're trying to compete in the Olympics or work in. She was on the bobsledding. I don't buy it at all. There's no way, because Nam is just such a sweetheart and he is trying his best to work with her, but they just aren't compatible with each other and they can't figure out how to communicate. There's a way to communicate with everyone. You just have to figure it out.
Absolutely. with that though, I want to sort of go through who were the show outs and who were the non-show outs. So for the show outs, mainly it was a 2-team race. It was Corey and Ashley uh, and Jay and Teresa.
Yep.
And then on the bottom tier, you had Fessy and Anissa, Big T and CT. Really, those were your top two, bottom two.
Yeah, and Amber M and Michi were kind of,
they started off hot. Like at the very beginning, they were in first place, but it was like what I was saying. Running 5 miles, yeah, it's 5 miles. It's not 26 miles like a marathon, but it's a marathon, not a sprint. You can't jump out of the gates sprinting. You need to pace yourself, figure out what your pace is, what works best for you in the short term, and then build off of that, especially once you get to a checkpoint where you can sort of conserve some energy.
They weren't able to control their adrenaline because as soon as TJ sounds the horn, I know people are thinking in the back of their mind, I got to kick it into high gear. No, it is 5 miles. You have got to pace yourself.
Yeah, because this isn't something where it's like, oh, it's going to be done in 5 minutes. No, this is going to take some time. So realize what your body can do and then adjust off of that. If you think you can win by doing that, go for it. But unless you have the experience and proven track record that you can do it by doing a full out sprint for 5 miles, come back to me,
I agree.
But we see at the end, Corey and Ashley sort of tried to do what I was mentioning. Like they're pacing. Even with their slip up where they went the wrong direction for a short period of time, they were right on Jay and Teresa. Teresa sort of seemed like she was slowing down, but I think Jay was able to be the right partner for her at that point to just keep her moving forward. And they very narrowly win, and they become the double agents.
Jay was super motivating with Teresa, so that was good to watch. I will say, Ashley, Corey, the reason why they did not win was because it's just such a dumb move. You have got to pay attention. They would have won. It wouldn't have been an option. There was no contest with it. They would have smoked them because the pace that Ashley and Corey had to even catch up to Jay and Teresa slightly was very, very strong. Teresa was lagging. She was so gassed. However, I give credit to Jay there. As you said, he was so good at motivating her and helping her. Hey, just a little bit further. When you have that finish line in sight, you just got to hightail it and go.
Yeah. So I think this also just shows Jay is someone where we haven't gotten to see him do a whole lot. He had an early exit in his first season due to the concussion, but he was just constantly getting thrown to eliminations. And really none of the competitions that he was in was showing what you could do in a final. This was the first competition he was in that could show what he could potentially bring to someone in a final or just bring for himself. And I think he came out looking very impressive. And it just goes to show it's not just about who's the biggest, who's the strongest, or who looks and appears the biggest and strongest. It's lean people can do well in the final. Like Johnny Bananas is only like 5'7", 5'8". He's not the biggest guy around, but he has great endurance and he's sort of leaned himself out over the years. So if he gets to a final, he's going to be trouble for you. I think Jay's a similar type.
Yeah, you and I have talked about this with Jay, and I have said if Jay can somehow sneak his way into a final, he's going to be a top contender simply because of his stamina, his endurance, and he knows what he's doing. And he also is able to showcase that he's not going to give up and quit. We see so many times people think that they can do it, but they gas out. This just showcased Jay's not going to gas out. And if he's not able to fully do puzzles or other elements throughout the final, he's going to be able to catch up on the running portion.
Yeah, I feel Jay is one of the more well-rounded players that you have here in terms of competitions. His only weakness would be if you had a headbanger, just from if he's going against the wrong person that day. And really, a lot of people, it would be the wrong person for him for a strictly headbanger style competition. I feel other things though, like the elimination tonight, he would have been very good at.
Yes, because he's pretty agile, and so he would have been able to get the hang of it and do well with that type of elimination. I'm someone that's rooting for Jay. If he can get to that final, I think that other people better watch out because, yes, he's underestimated in terms of his size, but I wouldn't want to run against Jay.
And to wrap up this challenge before we head into a break, I love this little side comment from Anissa where they get to their puzzle, everyone's leaving their puzzles, and they cut to Anissa and Fessy, and Anissa just goes, I have a headache. Because she's just like, I'm out. I don't care. We're gonna come in last. We know we're gonna come in last. Like, stop trying to push me. Like, I have a headache. Let me take my time.
She had a headache. I had a headache watching that train wreck. It was terrible.
Oh, yeah. But when you do competitions like these, you don't want to be dehydrated. And one of our sponsors that you're just about to hear now, Hydrant, has it for you.
Winter's here and it's crazy cold outside. But what you don't know is you should still drink more water. By the time you feel thirsty, it's too late. You're already dehydrated. You can't focus and you feel tired.
Drinking enough water is critical for a healthy lifestyle that you're trying to maintain. It increases your brain power, boosts your productivity. It can prevent headaches and it'll increase your focus. Not only that, it improves your skin and mood, and it can help with your digestion and give you energy. Wow, it also prevents bad breath and can help you lose weight. But how much water should you drink each day? 10 cups? A gallon? The good news is that it doesn't have to be so complicated. That's why I start my day with Hydrant, because Hydrant helps you hydrate faster.
Hydrant has created a refreshing electrolyte powder that you mix directly into water to more efficiently and effectively hydrate your body. It hydrates you quickly and keeps you going for longer. Each rapid hydration mix has the 4 essential electrolytes that your body needs: sodium, potassium, magnesium, and zinc, and it packs a punch to help your body hydrate fast and stay hydrated. If you're looking for that extra boost of energy, there's also Hydrant Plus Caffeine, which contains 100 milligrams of caffeine from green tea. Hydrant is backed by research. The formula was developed by an Oxford scientist. It also is loved by pro athletes, top performers, celebrities, and has thousands of 5-star reviews.
It's made with real fruit juice powder. It's delicious and refreshing, and it comes in a variety of flavors, including iced tea, lemonade, and fruit punch. My favorite personally is the grapefruit. It's a classic and I go back to it. It's delicious. Plus, this stuff is backed by a 100% satisfaction guarantee. If you don't love it, you can send it back for a full refund. You really need to try it for yourself to see what I'm talking about. It tastes incredible and it works.
Well, Hydrant starts at just $1 a packet for a 30-day supply, and you save even more with a monthly subscription. And it's so easy to get. We've got a special deal for our listeners to save 25% off your first order. We're not kidding here, folks. 25%. Go to drinkhydrant.com/survivor and enter our promo code SURVIVOR at checkout. That's drinkhydrant.com/survivor and enter promo code SURVIVOR for 25% off your first order. That's drinkhydrant.com/survivor. Enter promo code SURVIVOR to save 25%. And we thank them for sponsoring the podcast. This episode is brought to you by Magic Spoon. Now, oh my God, Magic Spoon was so kind to send me that's really cool bowl. It's like rubbery, it's the coolest bowl of all time. And this rainbowy spoon that is really awesome. And if you think about it, they're called Magic Spoon, so why shouldn't the spoon be totally incredible? Well, here's how incredible all these things are put together. My daughter Piper, turning 13 this month, thinks that is the coolest spoon, the coolest bowl, and as a result, the coolest cereal of all time. I mean, we're talking about a kid that ate the worst cereal ever. And she's now all in on Magic Spoon. I've been on board, the whole time, but to have the rest of the family join in on with me, oh my God, we are a Magic Spoon family.
Man, growing up, cereal was one of the best parts of being a kid, so I'm glad Piper's on board. But I've recently had to give it up because I realized it was full of sugar and junk that you just shouldn't eat. I've been trying to cut down on carbs, sugar, unhealthy foods, and I realized I basically can't eat anything anymore. So I've changed up my breakfast routine, and I've added Magic Spoon, and it's a game changer, I gotta say.
So, well, with the new year, we're all trying to eat better, but healthy breakfast doesn't have to be boring. Magic Spoon has amazing flavors that you love, but without all the bad stuff.
Yeah, they have 0 sugar, 11 grams of protein, and only 3 net grams of carbs in each serving. So many of you have asked us, and now you can finally build your own custom variety box and not just go with a pre-scripted one. You can choose from the best-selling cocoa, fruity, frosted, and blueberry flavors, plus brand new flavors including peanut butter and cinnamon.
Hey, it tastes amazing. Honestly, too good to be true. It's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, low-carb, and GMO-free. My favorite, absolutely, positively, no contest, cinnamon.
Good choice. Go to magicspoon.com/survivor to build your own custom variety box and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code SURVIVOR to get $5 off your order.
Yeah, Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. That's magicspoon.com/survivor. Use promo code SURVIVOR. They love it when we do that to save $5 off.
Boom. And we thank Magic Spoon for sponsoring the podcast.
And
Are
we're
you
back.
hydrated? Did you get rehydrated, Alex? Are you good to go
Yes,
now?
I had my hydrant /survivor. So we now know the winners are Jay and Teresa, and we have some mixed feelings here. Corey trusts Jay.
Yep.
They made a friendship out ever since the first season that Jay was on. He feels Jay wouldn't dog him. However, Ashley is sort of having this feeling out there. She feels off with Teresa. And as Ashley says, almost all the times where I feel off, I'm right.
Yeah. Ashley's trusting her gut in this situation. And the thing with Teresa, she has not been relevant at all in this season. And all of a sudden, boom, pops into this episode and shows some shadiness, honestly. I think she's just digging her own grave. She's almost doing what Tori did, not necessarily, going after the weak people, but her social game is awful.
I think she's just having a hard time because she took such a long time off. So the friendships aren't really there. Like if you have the people that were remaining in the game, she left the challenge on bad terms with Nani. She was Leroy's ex, so I don't know what their relationship was after the fact there. Yes, they competed in a final together, but she was a last-minute replacement. What's Leroy going to do? Say, no, I'm not going to run the final because I don't like her? No, he's going to run the final. Through that, if you don't have a relationship with Leroy, you don't have a relationship with Cam.
Correct.
And so it sounds like maybe the only person that she did vibe with somewhat was Anissa. But she's someone who comes in, she's like, well, I like to just make friends. And she was making friends with the rookies. And it's sort of what you saw with her last season, where she was like, she made friends with other people and then decided to betray the people she knew first.
I have no issue with her making friends with other people. I think it's a fantastic strategy. However, when you come into power, you have to be very subtle and careful with what you do, because all of a sudden it can blow up in your face. You should just go with, this is what majority's wanting. I'm going to follow suit, and I'm not going to create waves in the house. Once you create waves in the house, you become bullseye target number one. Everyone is then after you. So I just think the way she went about it was really bad, because yes, when you get in power, you want to make a strong move in the game, but in her mind, what the strong move was, it didn't work out for her at all.
Well, and I'll just give one counter argument here. She may not feel like she's firing the first shot. Like if you think about the confrontation from Lolo, like about it all, Teresa was probably thinking, well, why is Lolo confronting me about this now? Like I voted on her side. We got, we broke up Tori and Anissa. Why does she have an issue with me just because I talk with people? And maybe she's putting two and two together going, well, if that's the case, then I can't trust the veteran women because they're trying to sow seeds to the rookies so that I'm the target instead of them. So I might as well get this power opportunity and take the shot.
I get that you want to take a shot. However, we see that Kyle and Jay have that interaction with each other, and Jay's saying him, "You're good. I wouldn't blindside you. I'll let you know what's going down." So I just think the way that they went about it as a partnership with each other was not the best, because you could have been straight up and honest with people and said, "Yes, you're going in." They would have more respect for you, and then people in the house were okay. Here's look at it this way: if other people in the house see that you can backstab and betray someone that easily, then they know that you could potentially do that to them as well, which then makes them take pause. If you're straight up and saying, yes, these are the people I'm specifically working with, I'm trying to target this group of people, they're going to back you. But if you see all the shadiness happen, the people that thought they were with you are going to take a step back and say, if she did it to them, and if Jay did it to his guys, that could happen to me in the future.
So I think overall, like, we can talk about this broadly about the decisions and everything. I think Jay's issue was he didn't make this a 50-50 partnership. He sort of just said, Teresa, I will back you. Maybe it's because he thought it was a girls' elimination. I don't know, but I feel if Jay understood, and he even says in his confessional, so he did know, I'm making stupid moves here by not being by withholding information from Corey, who he's friends with outside of the game. He makes a deal with Kyle at the club saying, I'm not going to say your name. If we find out that it's you or that we're going to pick you, I will let you know beforehand so that you can get mentally ready.
If he's saying that and he knows that, then why did he not have a conversation with Teresa? I think he pulls Teresa aside and they get on the same page. Then none of the craziness that happened in the crater would have just been it just wouldn't have happened that way. I think, and Jay's watching all of that go down saying, I just basically screwed my game for this particular power move. And I love power moves in the challenge, but they have to be done correctly and they have to be done subtly where you're getting your target out no matter what. And yes, they do execute and get their target out, but you create distrust with so many different people in the house because they have more connections than you do.
Yes. It's a tightrope, like when you're walking a tightrope, you only have that rope to walk on. There's no wiggle room. You wiggle one way or the other, you're tilting, you're falling into hopefully a safety net on the bottom. Unfortunately, in the challenge, there is no safety net. There's just fire because the challenge loves fire. But I feel his biggest error was that, like, he didn't approach Teresa and go, hey, this is actually how we need to do this so that we're not just thinking about tonight, we're thinking about what keeps us away from being picked next week. Because, I don't know if they noticed, but they were having like some burn votes thrown around. Like, what if burn votes are thrown on us? Enough burn votes get thrown around, we're the people going in.
Here's another error, though. Her going to Cam and saying, I'm only going to put you in if it's a physical one where I know you can beat someone. That's another error right there.
It was a half measure. It was Teresa trying to create this, that I wrote it down. I was like, Teresa's trying to go in there telling Cam about this and to make it sound like, spin it into, I'm helping you, Cam, get your skull. I'm only doing this to help you. Maybe you can help me later. Like, trying to make it so that Cam will think it's her idea, not Teresa's idea to go in. But Cam's
that would work on a moron, but Cam's actually very intelligent and she sees right through it.
Exactly. That's where I was going to go with.
Okay.
You can see the entire time on Cam's face. Because Cam doesn't have a poker face. Like,
No.
I'm looking at that the entire time and I'm like, Teresa, how do you not understand that Cam's not buying a word that you're selling? It's hard. We've seen it. If you cross Cam, that you're her mission now.
And you have to realize Cam has Leroy in the house. That is two people that are working with each other no matter what, and they're not partnered with each other. Therefore, you have essentially 4 people that are strong with each other because the partnerships that they have are strong with their other duo. I just think it was not calculated correctly. I get Teresa's point in saying, I'm trying to help you. Can you help me in the future? But don't blindside somebody, because she had to realize that the connections that Cam has in the house. Now, if we go into the crater and that we see that it's physical, that's not really a blindside because Teresa explained it.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't played smart. And I think the biggest mistake, unfortunately for them, was winning. Like, it was sort of a double-edged sword here. They won to ensure their safety because they felt if they didn't win, they were the team that was going to get thrown in because a lot of the girls just didn't trust Teresa. But by winning, you're now forced to expose your hand, and it's a short-term win. And that's what Leroy says. Like, you got your goal, but we're coming for you now.
I
So be
agree.
ready.
They got what they wanted, but now they have so many different people coming for them. Now, here's my question to you. Say that Ashley and Corey would have won. Do you think that Teresa and Jay would have been the house vote?
I think it's a possibility, unless Ashley was because from what we're seeing, Ashley is saying, if I was in the power position, I would want to try to get a weak player in so that I could go in myself and try to earn my skull. So I think her intentions would have been, let's get Michi and Amber M in. If it's a girl elimination, I will go down and I'll try to get my skull. If it's a guy elimination, Corey can go down and get his skull, or we can figure something out there. But I'm thinking Ashley's thinking, I want to earn my skull.
Well, that's eventually going to be what the dilemma is. As the numbers start to dwindle, people are going to realize, all right, eventually you have to maybe throw in some people that you consider weaker than yourself, so then you can set yourself up to go in that particular elimination. But what was hurting people previously was there's so many numbers in the house, you can't guarantee that that's the way it's going to go. So I think within the next 3 to 4 weeks, that's what it's going to end up being. The team in power is going to get who they want as the house vote, which they could consider a person that they want to go against in elimination. They're going to jump in, go in, earn their skull, and hopefully go on to a final.
Yeah. So with that, we sort of got through all the touch points of what happens at the club, what happens prior to Deliberation. So we're going to move to Deliberation now. And Cam is saying, like, asks if anyone wants to volunteer themselves. Nani then comes up and says, well, everyone knows we all heard a name. Do we all just want to do that? And Leroy, being Leroy, is just like, I'm just going to call it how it is. It's Ashley. Mm-hmm. And I think Ashley makes a very good sales pitch. Like, if you're someone against, like, your back's against the wall, but you have something to back it up, she hits on points that I think are very interesting. And it did work somewhat with some of the players. And she goes, she wants people to know that if we go down there, it's not a guarantee it's a girls' day because there is no rogue agent currently. We don't know if it's going to be a guy or a girl's day. So if it's a guy's day, then you just fucked yourselves. And they don't know if Teresa will put herself in or she's going to put one of you in. I'm going to be down there and I'm going to be pissed. You don't want to be going up against me when I'm pissed, and we don't know what the elimination is. And then lastly, she talks about, if you're a guy, you shouldn't want to vote me in anyway, because you just saw how I performed today. That shouldn't be a detriment against me. That should be an incentive for you to want me in this game as your partner in the final.
That is one of the best points that she made in that pitch for people not to vote her in, because you have to look at, she, endurance-wise, does pretty well for herself. Puzzle, she'll kick anyone's ass. She's so intelligent. And guys have to realize, if this is the way it's going, that you're going to have a partner in the final, I would want Ashley as my partner if I'm a guy, because I know that she's going to perform. And her track record of her in finals is excellent. She makes it to the final, good chance she's winning. She's been to 3 finals, she's won 2. So they have to play that into account. You can't ignore it. It's not possible. And I think people failed to see that. They're looking short term and not long term.
I agree 100%. There's really nothing else for me to add there. Only other thing I can talk about is Amber M susses out that pretty much without saying it, Ashley's trying to get the vote switched to her and Michi. And they pretty much try to speak up for themselves. Michi says, hey, enough of this. I'm going to vote this one specific person. You're not voting that one specific person. You're voting them and their partner. So I ain't going to sit back and have you target my partner because you're targeting me too. Let's just get that real right now.
I respect that 100%. And I will say Amber M seemed very, very smart. She did well last week. She helped with the plan with Big T in order to get the Tori and Anissa matchup. Amber M is very underestimated with how intelligent she is. I think she's playing pretty well strategically, and she's not someone that's coming in saying, I have no idea what's going on. She's adapted to the game, and I think we're going to see more from her because clearly she's starting to get a little bit more of a storyline.
Yeah. My read on Amber M is, despite what we talk about, and I'm all for, defending yourself, she comes across as one of the weaker women.
Yep.
If she's in an elimination, I think more times than not, she's going to be the person that loses. However, I think she benefits this specific season due just to the numbers that the rookies represent in this specific season. However, the props I will give to her is she will stand her ground. Mm-hmm. She's not going to just take it from anyone. And I think I see something that can develop within her if she keeps coming back to be a good strategic player in this game.
You need people that think strategically. We're not going to have the biggest and the strongest people out there. You have to have people that are going to play the political game. And I think she could be one of those people in future seasons, such as Big T. Big T, we've seen her be able to play that political game as well. We saw it last week. So I think you are going to have to find those particular people. Yes, you want to bring your challenge beast, but make sure to incorporate some of those strategic players because you never know. The first season Ashley was on, I didn't think that she was necessarily going to be a strong competitor. She made it to the final and kicked ass.
Yeah, exactly. And I just want to say, it's like, when we see people, yes, maybe we root for people that we know can't win, or like more times than not, they're not going to get to the end of the game just due to their size, their build, what their strengths aren't what is used in the elimination where they get sent home. But it's like we all love Big T. We don't think she's the biggest competitor, but we like her. She has a great personality and she brings good strategic game and social game. We could potentially see another of that in Amber M if the challenge and MTV allow this story to continue to develop. It's we can't, as much as we love the competition of it all, if you're going to give me a cast with 30 Fessies, I'm most likely not going to watch because they're not bringing any personality to this.
Right. And they're not able to talk it through in confessionals. Anytime Fessie pops up in a confessional, I'm bored.
Well, yeah. And the reason why you're bored is he's saying the same thing that he's been saying every episode. He talks about, I'm flirting with this person, this relationship, friendship, complicated thing. Or he's talking about, I'm horny. Tori's hot. Gabby's hot. Everyone that I see, I get a huge erection over. And because I'm tall, I just think I'm going to be able to get them. Or he's saying, Anissa's a veteran, but she's just not good at endurance. I'm mad that she's my partner. Like, that's the main two things you're going to get every single episode with Fessie.
I love that you bring that up because I don't think that he has said really anything else other than those statements in confessionals. And I think it's spot on.
Well, my impersonations are great. I'll go on Cameo for them. I'll put myself for $5.
Oh, I was going to just say $1,
I'll put myself for free. Give the people what they want.
Yes, more Alex screen time.
Yeah, because that's what everyone's screaming for. They want more of me than nobody talking about all these somebodies.
I mean, you never know.
Okay, so we get to everyone's voting. We see a lot of people putting burn votes in, which does become a story of it all. But we do see that Ashley and Corey are to vote, but with only 9 votes. And it was pretty much all the rookies, CT, and Devin.
Yep. Terrible, because this is where I said at the beginning of the episode with the recap, burn votes are bitches. Make a decision, because when you burn your vote, you screw yourself. And We've seen in previous challenges where someone just says right off the bat, I'm going to burn my vote on this person in front of everyone. That person ends up going in and they get screwed. And we see this tonight where people weren't able to make a damn decision. You're on a show for $1 million. You cannot coast by and just say, I'm going to sit back and see what happens. No, because then your neck could be on the line. If you're going into this challenge house, you better be there to say, I'm going to go guns blazing. I'm not going to hide. Yes, there's certain points where you need to hide, but in terms of making a decision on who's going into elimination, you need to make a choice because then you could end up going in.
Yeah. Perfectly said.
Sorry, I got a little passionate about that.
No, I love that. You know, we want you to be passionate and show that little bit of fire in there. But
just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. So we do head to elimination, but prior to elimination, Corey does sort of try to suss Jay out a little bit to see, hey, do you think it's gonna be me or anything? And Jay has to lie, and he's saying, man, I know I'm making a terrible decision here. These aren't smart choices, and this is gonna come back to bite me. But he's pretty much saying, but I'm doing this because Teresa wants me to. I want to be a good partner, so I'm going to support her, even though that means I'm not really supporting her because I'm not telling her my concerns.
Can we talk about the body language when Corey came in the sliding door and Jay had his hood up and everything? That right there should tell you something. Jay just was chilling. He wasn't really saying anything, and it was very awkward.
Yeah, not a good look. Like, if you're going to want to blindside someone or keep things under wraps, you need to sell it, man. Go to your acting classes, whatever you need to do, but you need to figure out that poker face. Or like someone like me who doesn't have a good poker face, you need to be smiling all the time, man, no matter what, so that people can't tell your tale.
I don't buy that, Alex. You're telling me that you can't lie?
I say when I was younger, everyone knew if I was lying. Now when I'm older, I've learned my trick where my facial expression doesn't change because I'm always just happy. You can't tell if I'm telling you a lie or not.
Well, that's the thing. I love it when you're happy, so it's all good on my end.
There you go. See, the smile always works. People like the smile, so I smile as much as I can.
Or they like that mean face.
I don't have a mean face.
No,
like Big T.
Wait, one more time. I just need it one more time.
No, I'm not getting any screen caps here.
Hey, you gave it to me once. It was pretty good.
There you go. So we get to elimination, and it's revealed that Ashley and Corey are the house vote. They're upset. Everyone's lying, sons of bitches. They're snakes. You can't trust nobody in this house. You can't trust nobody.
Fiery Ashley is back, and I am always here for it, even if I get only just a little bit of screen time.
And I love Ashley, but she was semi-blindsided the first vote as well. And she said that helps her in her eliminations. I don't think it did. I'm sorry, Ashley. Do not hate me for saying that because I love her as a TV character.
Yes.
And can't wait to see her get back. But Teresa didn't want her back. Teresa knew she needed to get one of Cam, Ashley, or Nani out of this game because they're the ones she sees as the ringleaders who will go up against her or try to get her out. So she's like, I have to do it. One of them needs to go. So I know I said I would give you a headbanger only, but Cam, you're going down and taking her out for me.
Pissed off people all around, shocked faces. I myself wasn't super shocked because we could tell based on the storyline that was probably the direction it was going in. The only thing I was expecting was to see a headbanger out there, and we didn't. And she still chose to put Cam in, which is a huge, huge mistake because either way, you're getting one of the pissed off people back no matter what. Yep.
You are getting Hurricane Ashley or you're getting Killer Cam activated. So the elimination that they were doing was called Dead Ringer. And while y'all are on your tall ass podiums, you will have to use momentum to put rings onto posts.
Wait, Mr. Beth's point. TJ with the fake out.
Oh, okay. that actually got me in my notes, and I had to go back and erase stuff. So he essentially says, it's guys, and you have Ashley turning around,
Giving the
flipping
bird
off
to
the
everyone.
house. And then he goes, guys, to watch your girls compete, it's a girls' night.
That got me too. And I will say I was actually kind of excited for it because that would have been so interesting to see Corey versus Kyle in that situation, especially because Kyle has a skull. So I would have been fine with that matchup, but TJ's fake out. If I'm standing down there in the crater and I all of a sudden get one sigh of relief and then find out, oh shit, I'm actually going in, I'm not only pissed that I'm down there, but I'm fucking pissed at TJ.
Oh, I can't be pissed at TJ. Like, I would be mad, but I wouldn't be so much mad at TJ for doing it because I know he's just doing his job. I would just be... I don't know if I would be mad there. I think
Alex,
it
you
would
would
be
be mad. You would be very upset.
I think I would more be trying to get myself in the headspace. Like, that's just me personally outside looking in, going, when I've had to go into competitions before, or I didn't know and I was like a last minute put into something, I can't have the time to think about confusion or anger or anything. I have to go in and think, okay, I'm competing now. Let me get myself in the proper headspace so that I can compete and win.
I mean, I compete better when I'm angry, so,
No, that's not the case for me. If I get angry, that causes distraction, and you see that with Ashley in this. So you have to get the 6 rings onto the podiums. If a ring falls, you have to get all your other rings on before you get dropped down to pick up and retrieve your fallen rings. So we see this is all about rhythm and momentum, really getting that solid footwork to get your momentum to reach to the pole. And I think Cam had it right on the money to try to get 2 at a time, get your momentum so strong so that you can go hit one ring and immediately go back and hit the post that's immediately behind you. So she gets an early lead.
Right. You have to have really good agility with this type of challenge. And that's where I would say Jay would have done really excellent in this format, just the way that he's able to calmly get from one side to the other. Because here's the issue. If you start off with bad mojo in this, don't continue with that. Reset yourself. This is a type of challenge where you have to reset, because if you don't, you're just going to continue twirling around. I forget what Nietzsche said, something about like a bird without a wing is what Ashley looked like out there.
Yeah.
And he wasn't lying. He was correct. He was spot on. But I think that's a moment where you reset yourself. If you know the momentum is not working, take a second, take a deep breath, get your bearings, and try again.
Yeah, but to go with what we were saying, this is a competition where I don't think anger helps you. Your anger can't drive you there, because anger does not allow you to have a clear mind. And we saw that with Ashley. And that's why she dropped multiple rings. Like, anger doesn't allow you to focus. And this is a competition where you need to focus and just be calm throughout it, because you need to be constantly thinking, how much momentum do I need to build up so I can do all these and get this done. It's not, and you know what? Cam beasted. Cam wins. Cam, apparently, I didn't know until now, is 10-1 in eliminations. Yeah. So she has the same amount of wins as Anissa, 9 less losses.
And she's been on way less seasons of the challenge. But here's the thing. You can't deny. Cam is an absolute beast. You do not want to go up against her in eliminations because, as we said, she's 10-1, which is an incredible feat to have. However, what she needs to do now is she has to get herself a win. Because, yes, you can win all these eliminations, but if you don't win that season of a challenge, you don't have any. You can go back on, oh, I'm great in eliminations. Win it. Because then that just increases your respect level all around. Not to say people don't respect Cam, but you have got to get that challenge season win.
Well, I think that's the strong suit for Cam, and it's sort of what frustrates some fans with her, but I admire it, and it's her self-confidence in herself, where she's like, I know I had to go in at some point, so like, even if it wasn't the headband, I'm just going to go in, I'm going to compete, I'm going to get my skull, get it once, be out, because I believe in my abilities, and I don't think a lot of these people actually do want to face me.
Right. This is helpful for her to go in at this stage because TJ states what her record is. Now no one's going to say, oh, I'm going to go and try and steal Cam's skull. Hell no.
Exactly. Someone might need to hit the bullet, but it ain't going to be today.
But they wouldn't pick Cam as the person that they might have to steal from someone else, but I wouldn't be picking Cam to try and steal from. I'd steal from anyone but her.
I agree. Like with the elimination like that, I wouldn't want to personally go against her unless it was like my only option. So unfortunately, we have to say goodbye again to Ashley, this time for good.
You know, I'm very sad about that.
I think we're all sad about that.
Well, here at Reality NSFW, we're pretty big stans of Ashley, Millionaire Mitchell.
And nothing's going to change that. We know we're going to see her again, and it's just creating more opportunities for her in the future. So best of luck to her. We'll see her in the future. But everyone's pissed. Everyone's pissed at Jay and Teresa. Everyone's calling them out. I do like CT sort of going, I don't understand why in a game where we're all liars and trying to deceive people that you're getting so butthurt over being lied to. Like, get over it. We've all lied to each other.
I get it, but CT can also say that. However, he's been upset when people have screwed him over too.
Oh yeah, you saw it in the first episode. Got pissed
so
off.
You can say it when it's not happening to you, but when it's happening to you, you're pissed off.
Yeah, but now we're seeing the ramifications. So Cam, Leroy, they're like, okay, we're gonna go for you. Like, Jay, count your wishes because we know the next round's a guy's elimination. So I can see them trying to do a Leroy Jay thing so that Leroy can get his skull as well. We have Corey. He's done with them. He's done with Jay. Kyle, he's done with Jay.
And he's also clearly done with his partners because he can't keep a partner to save his life.
Oh, yeah. He called himself the Black Widow. So I guess he's joining Amanda, Parvati, and Sari in the Black Widows Brigade. I'm sure they will welcome him with open arms.
Yes, from Survivor Micronesia. Yes, love it.
Yes. And Cam has a decision to make. And Leroy with a comment, and it's very uncomfortable to see all the guys wanting my girlfriend.
He needs to realize they only want her for her competitiveness. So Leroy, chill. You're good to go. You know Cam's going to be with you. You guys are going to be happy and live happily ever after with each other. And rooting hardcore for that couple, might I add. I hope that they find happiness with each other.
I think they will. And I know Leroy knows that. He was just trying to give them something to use. But Cam says she doesn't want to split the Killas up. I love that name. So Killa Cam and now Killa Kyle. Kyle now gets to use Killa in his name too. Get to stay together, and Kyle is very happy about that.
Oh, Kyle is stoked because you heard him say, please don't leave me.
Yeah, he first picked her out of revenge, but he's like, oh, I picked such a great partner.
Yep.
So with that, we're winding down, but let's do that hypothetical. If, say, next week, Leroy does go in, get his goal, maybe it's against Jay, maybe it's not. Do you think he steals Cam because now they both have gold skulls so that we have our gold skulls, we can now run the final together?
All right, I know we've talked about this before. Here's my only issue. I think it's too soon for them to partner up with each other because I think it still gives them a chance to be stolen. I don't think people are going to call Cam down to go against her and try and steal a skull from her, but people might call Leroy down because Leroy, I love him to death, but sometimes he just can't get the full execution of completely getting himself to a final or winning a final. So I think that he could be someone that guys could go after and say, you know what, I think I can take down Leroy.
Yeah, but I'm calling my shot. I'm seeing Leroy in this final. This season can't end without seeing him in the final at least.
Oh, I'm rooting for him to get there, but I'm talking about, you're saying if they should match up with each other. I think it's too soon for them to do that. I think if it's in the future, I would say 3-4 episodes down the line, if they make that decision where, yes, Libra is now going in, then I think he should still cam because it's further along down the road.
Okay. With that, I think that wraps up everything for this episode, Lauren.
Yeah, so thanks so much for tuning in, you guys, to Reality NSFW. Please come back tomorrow night live with Jonny, Zack, and Marie Roda for the Expert Podcast. They've had a lot of fun, a lot of great content on their end. They had Ashley on last week. They also had Casey on early in the season, so definitely check them out. It's great content, and Jonny always delivers with his one-liners.
Yeah, and if you liked what we did today, please hit subscribe, become part of this channel, click the like button for this video, and click the bell for notifications so you know whenever content from Reality NSFW is coming out on YouTube. And if you want to become more involved, become a patron for Reality NSFW, where you can join the Facebook page where we have a lot of great people who just love reality television, and they're great to know. And Jonny, Zack, and Matt, they're all doing patron-specific Q&As where they talk about everything and have some wild stories that they share, as well as their coverage of Australian Survivor, which they have all fallen in love with.
Also, we are starting up monthly game nights over in the Patreon group, so a lot of great things happening here on our end.
But with that, that concludes today's episode of The Challenge, the live recap. We will be back next week. Goodbye, everyone.
Now that the holidays are over, it's all too common to set health goals that never actually stick. New Year's resolutions of the past, we're looking at you. And when it comes to eating better and consuming less sugar, let's be honest, most healthy snacks don't taste very good. They don't fill you up, and they certainly don't satisfy your cravings. This episode is sponsored by Monk Pack, who make snacks that taste like our favorite sugary treats, but with less than 1 gram of sugar.
Monk Pack Keto Nut and Seed Bars contain less than 1 gram of sugar, 2 to 3 grams of net carbs, and they're only 150 calories.
They're great for anyone following a keto lifestyle and the perfect snack for anyone who is trying to eat better or cut back on sugar and carbs without sacrificing taste.
Yeah, that's so true. I'm personally not a keto eater, but I love these nut and seed bars. I try to have one of these always on me for a snack because I'm usually trying to train for a new running distance I'm trying to hit. I think 2021 is going to be the year for my first full marathon, and I think Monk Pack Keto Nut and Seed Bars are going to help me get there because they're giving me the energy I need and the nutrition I need to make those health goals possible.
Wow. Monk Pack Keto Nut and Seed Bars have the perfect balance of sweet and salty, a crunch from whole nuts and seeds, but still manage to be soft and chewy. How do they do it? They come in delicious flavors like sea salt dark chocolate, pecan almond, and my favorite, no contest, love these so much, game changers if you will, the peanut butter dark chocolate.
So good. They're perfect for a quick snack to satisfy your sweet tooth without any guilt. Enjoy Monk Pack Keto Nut and Seed Bars as a quick breakfast, while running errands, or after a workout.
In addition to being keto-friendly, these bars are gluten-free, plant-based, and non-GMO, so with no soy, trans fat, sugar alcohols, or artificial flavors.
They really taste incredible, and you can't beat the low sugar nutrition or taste they provide. And by shopping online, you can avoid another trip to the grocery store by getting Monk Pack delivered right to your door.
Try it for yourself and see. And we have a special deal for our listeners. Get 20% off your first purchase of any Monk Pack product by visiting monkpack.com and entering promo code SURVIVOR at checkout.
And Monk Pack is so confident in their product, it's backed by a 100% satisfaction guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll exchange the product or refund your money, whichever you prefer.
So to get started, just go to monkpack.com, that's monkpack.com, and select any product, and then use promo code SURVIVOR, they love it when we do that, at checkout to save 20% off your purchase.
Monk Pack, delicious, nutritious foods you can count on, and we thank them for sponsoring the Reality NSFW podcast.
Any fool can climb a wall or crawl through sand, but as every fan knows, Survivor challenges are won or lost at the puzzle. The most successful players are puzzle masters, and you can be one too. Fairplay, Perplexers Puzzles creates handmade miniature replicas of many of Survivor's greatest and most challenging puzzles. Find out if you have what it takes by visiting the Perplexers Puzzle Store on Etsy or simply visiting survivorpuzzle.com. Enter promo code FAIRPLAY, FAIRPLAY, at checkout for a 10% discount. And let me tell you, I'm hanging out on my patio on these beautiful summer nights. I have Zack Hacker coming over to my house, and we did the fire puzzle, the season 40 puzzle. I got the tree puzzle, and Zack was like, dude, these things are fucking awesome. So if you are a fan of Survivor, as Zack is, and I know he has a true, authentic Survivor puzzle that I have personally done, these Perplexers puzzles are the real deal. So go to survivorpuzzle.com right now, enter promo code FAIRPLAY at checkout for a 10% discount, and I promise you, you will not be disappointed.